Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Nicole from Wildflower Valley Farm. Today I am out here in the rabbit shed and I am going to be showing you how I treat rabbits for ear mites. It's not something that we struggle with often here at the farm, but it does come up occasionally. This rabbit right here has them right now. That is why his ear is drooping down. He is not a lop-eared rabbit. He's a standard Rex, and their ears are supposed to be straight up like the ear on this side, but the one on this side right here is hanging down because it's bothering him. So I am going to be treating his ear, and what I do is I just use, you can use any kind of cooking oil that you want. Some people like to use mineral oil, but because it's petroleum based, I don't like to use that. I prefer to use a cooking oil. And I just use whatever I have in the house to cook with, which primarily the only liquid oil that I have is going to be either coconut oil or olive oil. And this time of year, because it's so cold, any of you that use coconut oil know, the coconut oil most of the time is going to be in its solid state while it's in the jar. So the easiest thing for me to use is the olive oil, and you don't need very much, but I'll show you how I put it in his ear, and we'll go from there. So I brought out from the house just this small container of olive oil so I didn't have to bring my bottle outside. I'm going to be very careful and try to open this without spilling it. Lay that down. And then I just use a regular syringe with no needle. This actually is one that I picked up at the drugstore for dispensing human medications. But you can buy them at any livestock supply, Tractor Supply, Co-op. They all have them. One this size is probably going to be less than $1. You can buy just a single syringe, or you can buy a whole package of them. And a lot of times at my local stores, my local feed stores, you can buy a package of 6 or even 12 sometimes for $1.50, $2, something along those lines. They're really super cheap, and they are definitely worth having on hand. Even if you do not do injections of any sort on your farm, it's still a good idea to have some syringes on hand for things like this, because it just makes the giving of medications, even natural medications, a lot easier. So I just draw some up in the syringe, and I don't know how much I'm going to need. You really can't use too much because it is a food, so any of it that drains out is not going to hurt the rabbit if he licks it, or if it drains down on his fur. He'll just clean himself and clean it off, and that will be fine. So I am going to try to do this without taking him out of the cage. I don't know how well that's going to work out. As you can see, I'm kind of short, and this cage is up even with my shoulders. So I'm going to reach into the cage and try to put this in his ear without taking him out. If I do have to take him out, then I'll probably have to pause the video and readjust the camera so you can see what's going on. But hopefully this will work out. Let's see how that works. I just like to pet him for a minute to let him calm down and know that I am not going to do anything bad. It is going to be a little scary because he's not really going to understand what I'm doing. So, but before I try to do anything to him, I just want to pet him for a little bit just to comfort him and hopefully calm him down a little bit so he's not completely flipping out over this. And then I'm going to try to treat his ear without moving him, because to pull him down from that perch where he is right now would just upset him even more. And the fact that I am about to squirt something in his ear, doesn't matter what it is that I'm putting in there. It could be plain water, but it's still going to kind of freak him out a little bit. So I'm going to try not to get him down from where he is, so hopefully that will help reduce his stress somewhat at least. Okay, so I put about half the syringe in his ear, and you guys probably can't see with this camera angle, but I'm kind of holding his ear back in such a way that the oil will go down in the ear canal. The oil will smother the ear mites and kill them without having to use any chemicals. And then, just for good measure, there actually aren't any ear mites in his other ear, but to prevent them from running out of the affected ear and going into the not affected ear. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the oil in this syringe in that ear just to kind of help protect it from getting infected as well. So far, he seems to be okay with this. When I let go of him, he is probably going to start shaking his ears, and he'll probably get oil everywhere, but it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just olive oil, and when he does his normal grooming and cleaning himself, he'll clean himself up. He's actually not shaking his head. I've done this to him once before, and I guess he has learned that. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. And if you think about it, if you have anything in your own ear, it feels weird. It feels like there's something running down your ear and you want to try to get it out. So he's just kind of shaking his head, but that's actually a good thing, because him shaking his head helps to distribute that oil both inside and outside of his ears to make sure that everything is covered so that we get all of those mites. When you have a bad infestation, sometimes you have to do this multiple times. If it's just a minor infestation, you can do it once and they're done. But it didn't get them all for him the first time, and his ear's a little swollen and inflamed. So I've done it a second time. And even when they're gone, I will probably go ahead and do it again just to kind of help keep them from coming back. I will also check the other rabbits to make sure that they don't have any ear mites. A lot of times if one rabbit gets them, any rabbits that are nearby will get them as well. And so far, none of my other rabbits seem to have gotten them, but I'll check them anyway just in case. And if it looks like they have anything going on, I will give them a dose of the same olive oil, just kind of as a preventative as well. But that's how we treat ear mites here at Wildflower Valley Farm. It is very effective. It has worked for us for many years. Like I said, it's not something that we deal with on a regular basis. It doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes about once a year, and it usually is this time of year in the wintertime. We have usually just one single rabbit. It's never even all of them. It's usually one single rabbit. Usually in the late winter, early spring, we'll get them, and once we treat them, then it goes away and it doesn't come back. Usually if one rabbit has them, it's the same rabbit that gets reinfected, and I don't understand why that happens. I haven't found anyone that can tell me why the same rabbit will get those ear mites again. And again, it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't even, this rabbit, if he gets them again, it won't even be later this summer. It will probably be next winter again. So it's not the same ear mites coming back, or he would just keep them chronically all the time. But it just seems like some rabbits are more prone to getting the ear mites than others. But as I said, that's how we treat them here at Wildflower Valley Farm. I don't like to use any kind of chemical if I don't have to, and since the olive oil is as effective as it is, this keeps us from having to use any kind of toxic chemicals on our animals. We don't have to worry about it being absorbed into their skin or possibly into their food, since we do raise rabbits as a food source. I hope that was very helpful to you all. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and right beside it there's a little bell, and if you'll hit that, YouTube is supposed to tell you every time we upload a new video. I have heard from some other YouTubers that YouTube is not very consistent with that. But at least hopefully YouTube will tell you that we have uploaded something new. If you hit that little bell, that tells YouTube that you want to be notified when we upload a new video. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram and on our website, and I will put links to all of those in the description below. Hope you all have a great day. Thanks.